You need to give your battery some juice. All right, the car's back in the garage. All is right with the world again. So let's talk about how much all this costs. What's up, YouTube? It's me, everyone calls me Sook, and welcome to the final episode of this transmission build series where my car gets a build ZF8. If you're new to this series, I encourage you to go watch parts 1 and 2 where I talk about how the transmission failed on my car and what it's getting upgraded with. So now in part 3, we're going to talk about all the upgrades that it got, how much it cost, and the process to get here. Let's do a quick recap of what happened. So end of September, blew the transmission, basically smoked the clutches. So it sat for a little bit over winter while we prototyped some bushings. And then on February 23rd, it went to the shop from my house and the transmission came out same day and was shipped out for upgrade. And after that day, this became one of the most stressful projects that I've ever managed. We had everything from delays in shipments, extra parts that were needed, extra fabrication that was needed that we never even considered, parts delays due to other events that the vendors were at. Oh my God, it was pretty much everything that you could have run into, we ran into. So from the day that I went to the shop to the day that I brought it home, it was pretty much 8 weeks, which it's a long period of time to go through a lot of anticipatory stress to make sure the upgrades go properly and everything goes smoothly. And me being a project manager for my day job, I wanted to try and manage this from all the vendor perspective. The boys at the shop were very understanding and, knew I wanted to, have a certain level of detail and a certain level of involvement to make sure that, I could tell the whole story to you guys. So now I know why things happen the way they do, and I have a much better understanding of the things that shop owners go through when dealing with all these various manufacturers of parts and vendors and so on. I really, really feel for them now. But because it took so long, I had to change the way I'm filming this video. So now let's go into a montage of the 9 150-mile round trips I had to make to the shop and back for parts deliveries, to pick up stuff to take from my fabricator, to pick up other stuff, to go film this stuff, you name it. So let's go into this montage and then we'll come back and I'll give you a full breakdown of the cost of what went into this whole upgrade process. Thursday of the second week that the car has been on the lift, and I made my second run up to PE for parts. Had to bring them oil pump bolts for the transmission that we ordered new from ATS, new guibo that we found out when we took the drive shaft off last week because we saw some tears in the factory one. I got a new prototype ground cable, transmission to ground cable from Art Terminator that we're going to throw on. That's going to be an awesome upgrade for the community. And we got just some miscellaneous stuff. now week 3 of the car being on the lift. It is Wednesday of week 3. I'm going back up to PE because our strategy for mounting the coolers has changed a bit. The brace where the existing engine oil cooler is right now is not solid metal, so we're skeptical on it being able to support the weight of 2 coolers. So the thought now is to make a bracket on top of the intercooler and then some risers so the coolers can sit firmly in place on there. So I'm heading up to PE right now to grab that and something else in true while we're in there fashion. Because the car's on the lift, I'm taking this opportunity to have the wheels repaired. One of them is rashed, so we're gonna fix the rash and then we're gonna spray them a new color. And this is something I've been wanting to do since last year, so stay tuned for that. When I get to the shop, I will see if I can get the guys to talk about it. We're on the way to the shop right now, so see you there. Friday of week 7. I am making another trip up to PE because frankly I'm antsy and I want to see the state of the car, and I know it's getting close to done, so I want to just see what's going on. And today I've got my boy with me. What's up, Oliver? We're gonna go see the boys. Yeah. Alright, let's go. What up though? Am I driving too crazy? I know you hate when I drive crazy. It's okay though. You're a good boy. Yeah, we got a little bit to go.
Yeah, dude. We're at PE today.
So now you've seen exactly what it took to get this done properly and do it the way I want to do it. If you haven't figured out how I do things by now, or if you've been following this build for any length of time, you know that I do things a very certain way and very particular, and I wanted this to be done in a way that makes sure this problem will never happen again. So while it may have been drawn out a little bit, it was certainly worth it in my opinion. And I've put 1,000 miles on it since I've gotten it back, and man, you can definitely tell there's a built transmission in there, even on the stock TCU map, just from the way it shifts. Now I've got Rod Sutphin's new map using the new 1769 TCU flashing software, and we're doing some testing right now. So I'm just waiting to drain through this tank of 93 so we can fill it with the E85 and turn the meth on and really start doing some test hits, because fingers crossed this is the year of the 10-second quarter mile. Anyways, let's talk about costs. So I've broken this out into parts, and then we're gonna add on any miscellaneous things, and then we'll talk about the labor cost as well, because I obviously did not do this job myself. I've always been of the mindset that you pay the experts to do what they do well. People talk about this built, not bought thing. I'll wrench on this thing within my capability, but these people are experts in their craft, and there's a reason they do the things that they do. Just like if you needed a website built or you needed a mobile app built, you'd probably call me, because that's what I've been doing my whole career. So in any case, let's break this down. Starting with the Applied Torque Solutions Stage 2 clutch kit was $4,000, and that was with a 20% off sale on Black Friday. So when the car went down at the end of September, I knew that, it was gonna cost a lot and I needed to save money wherever I could. So I actually waited until Black Friday to buy the clutch kit, because I saved $1,000, which ain't nothing. So anyways, $4,000 for the clutch kit. The converter build. ATS sent this factory torque converter to Circle D Specialties in Texas, and they upgraded it to a high stall converter. You can definitely tell there's a high stall converter when you're driving this thing. That upgrade was $1,500. The valve body refresh. So ATS put some of his own little hardware in the valve body, cleaned the whole thing out, wherever there was fluid gunk and what have you, cleared all the passages, did his thing. That was $500. The oil cooler kit. So 8 HP oil cooler kit from GRU AutoWorks included the adapter that goes into the transmission, all the PTFE lines, all the fittings, and a 19-row cooler that's sitting up front. That was $515. Bushings. We replaced the transfer case bushing and the rear diff bushings with upgraded units. So I bought new units from FCP Euro and sent them to my boy at GRU AutoWorks. These are the only set he's ever gonna do. He agreed to do them for me because we've got a relationship like that. And he charged me what he thought was reasonable. So the price of bushings new from FCP Euro plus his labor for both of those bushings sent to my house, that was $400 total. Miscellaneous parts like the transmission oil pump bolts that I had to buy new from ATS after we had the car apart and the boys were putting the clutch kit in. The Guibo, or the flex disc that we found, was cracked when we took the drive shaft off, which on a 92,000 mile car that's been launched over 200 times, not surprising. Random other parts like seals for the rear diff and bolts for the suspension and then the axles and shit like that. All the stuff that had to come off, right? So that we estimated around $300, so not terrible. A lot of it was just bolts. And then the AmSoil Super Shift Trans Fluid at $20 per liter. So factory 8 HP takes 8 liters. Now with the cooler, you're increasing capacity by probably, let's say, half a quart. And I already had an extra quart capacity transmission pan from PPE Power. And then filling a completely dry transmission, which means you got to fill the torque converter first and then put the fluid in, you're probably looking at 11 to 12 quarts total. So then, in addition to that, we also did the 200-mile break-in and then a fresh fluid change. So add 8 more. So that's 20 quarts or 20 liters at $20 a liter. So that's $400 just in transmission fluid. So that brings just the parts total to a whopping $7,615. But then we needed some custom fabrication work for the actual coolers, because I already had an engine oil cooler up front. The factory F15 support, radiator support, wasn't strong enough because it's plastic to hold 2 coolers on it. So my boy Chandler at Bolin Metalworks, because he's fucking sick with it, made this sick cooler brace setup that you can see here. And it basically looks like it looks like art, and he charged me $900, which if you know anything about fabrication and you know anything about what that looks like and how nice that is, you know that he undercharged me for that. And so shout out to you, Chandler. So right now we're at $8,515. Now the rest of it is labor, and the average labor rate in the Chicago area for a BMW shop is about $175 an hour. And the labor that I got charged for was to remove and reinstall the transmission and all the supporting parts, install the actual clutch kit into the trans, install and plumb the oil cooler, all the fluid servicing, and then miscellaneous other stuff. So let's be optimistic and call that 15 hours of labor at $175 an hour. I'm gonna put that number here. So the total that we're looking at using an estimate on the labor is this number right here. I don't have the total in front of me because I'm winging it right now, but you can see that we're well into the 5 figures on this build. And that's not including the entire rebuild of the rear end that we did. We put all new BC Racing extreme low suspension on the back. We put all new swing arms on the back. We completely removed and then resealed the differential on the output and the axles. And then, so all the hardware that goes with that too. And then we also did stuff like upgrade my engine oil cooler lines because they had to be rerouted because of the trans cooler now coming in. And you know, all this other shit that goes into this. So well into the 5-figure bill. And to be honest, I expected that going in. I knew what I was getting into, and I'm not surprised by any means. Like I said, I do things a certain way. I have a very particular way about making sure that if something happens or if I'm upgrading something, that all aspects are considered. In this particular case, we addressed most of the drivetrain as well as the cooling to make sure that I don't have the same issue again. So yeah, that's a big number, but would I do it again? Yeah, I mean, I'm committed to this car. I'm planning on keeping this for a very long time, if not lifelong. This is just that car for me. I'm actually, you know, planning on being an X5 person for the long term. So I have no regrets. I have no qualms. I do acknowledge that I'm very fortunate to be in a position to be able to do this. But I'm also gonna say that I work my fucking ass off, and I feel like I deserve something like this with not only all the work I put in for myself, but for all the work I put in for the F15 community at large. I think this car in particular, for all the research and development it's done for all of you, I think it deserves to be treated in the way that it has been and just was, and will continue to do so. So yeah, thanks for watching the part 3 and the last episode in this build series. I really appreciate all your support. I'm truly blown away at the genuine outpouring, not only when the car went down, but when I was back on the road a couple weeks ago, everyone messaged me saying like, finally, you know, you're back, let's go. You know, I'm genuinely shocked that many people care about a nobody who's just driving a fucking mom car. So I really, really appreciate it. I've got more videos in the works. I've been getting asked a lot to go over the methanol system in the car. So that's gonna be the next one that I do. And then I've got some more lined up. So this will be a good year for us. I'm also going to Impact, so we'll be having another Impact video. I'm registered, I just got to book my hotel and stuff. So I'm super stoked on that. Make sure you go watch the video from 2023. I made kind of like a journey to Impact. So make sure you go watch that. And then, yeah, I'm super excited to be back on the road. I'll definitely be posting more racetrack stuff this year on this road to 10-second quarter mile. So thanks again for all your support, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.